Welcome back to Wisconsin Family. We're here at Wisconsin Granite and so excited to be talking with those folks later on in the program.
I'm definitely looking forward to that. They've always got some cool things to show us.
They sure do, but first I want to give as much time as I can to this fine gentleman here. Jim Essence joins us now from Jim's Coins in Hilldale. How
Welcome
are
back.
you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, what have you brought with us? What are you going to be talking about today, Jim?
Well, today I'd like to talk about sharing numismatics, which is the fancy term for coin collecting, sharing numismatics with your family with the theme of history, learning history through numismatics.
Okay.
Cool.
Something to talk about and learn history on the side, make it fun. Something you can talk about, help you with school,
Sure.
give you some background.
Do you have examples of how, do you have historical examples here that we can talk about?
Some of
That we
these
can
look
give a
awfully
history
historical,
lesson?
yeah.
Yes, definitely. So, for example, if you had this one here, which is not that expensive, you could get it for under $50 if you were interested.
Okay.
You could show it, and you could say to your child, "You want to see some big money?" And you could pull out this one, and you could tell them, "This is $1 from 1923. This is how big they used to be."
Wow.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And you could say it's big money not only in size, but also you could buy, say, 10 loaves of bread in 1923 with this $1.
Wow.
And how many loaves of bread could you buy today? You'd be lucky, probably not even
half
one.
of one,
Right,
yeah.
half, a quarter, maybe a slice in a cafe or
Yeah.
something, if that. So, that's something you can talk about, inflation and history.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed it says on the bottom $1 silver
Yeah, I
dollar,
was
so that
gonna
must have
notice
just
that.
been just after a switch from a coin?
Yes, yes. And another thing that you could talk about is, now this is the previous version, and that's a good segue because here you could show this to your young one and say, what looks different about this dollar?
Mm-hmm.
Does anything look different? It is the kind of the old style, but
Well, it looks a little greener. That's
Yeah,
the first thing I noticed.
yeah, and it doesn't
Okay.
say silver dollar.
All right. It
doesn't say
Oh, in
silver.
silver payable to the bearer
yes,
on
this
demand.
this is from 1957, but do you see anything different than the usual color differentiate in the seal maybe?
Oh, it's kind of a darker blue.
Yes, blue,
Yeah.
and today's are green and
Oh,
black.
sure.
Right, sure. Okay.
So this is called a silver certificate. It used to be all our money was backed by silver and gold, and I also brought some gold certificates. You can see
Okay.
the gold seals.
Sure.
Okay.
And so it used to be our money, we have to have that in store to back up our money. And in 1971, Nixon did away with the gold standard, and now our money is just based completely on faith. And so that's something you can talk about with your young one. You know, it ties into history. Why are these seals different colors? These used to be backed by silver, and now they're backed by green faith, basically.
I don't know if I feel as comfortable with that as I would with gold.
So how did that all work? I mean, because I don't know a whole lot about the history of the gold standard, because obviously I wasn't around before then, and how does the gold standard work? I mean, was there literally a certain amount of gold in the world, and then there was certificates saying,
Equaling that
if you have
value?
the certificate, you own this much gold in the world?
Yes,
Kind of
yes. The government set the amount of gold, and for example, foreign governments, what have you, could take the paper, and the U.S. government would give that gold over. So it was actually backed by the gold, and
So it's almost like a certificate of stock, like you own a share of the gold in the
Yes.
world.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that changed with, was it Nixon that you said?
yes, in 1971, he just did away with it, and now we can print as much money as we want,
Yeah.
With
which
nothing
causes
backing it.
which causes inflation.
Right.
And in some countries that kind of got out of hand, and you can show them this one from Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
And now they have notes $100 trillion. Of course, that's not the same as.
Yeah, what is that worth U.S.? Like, would you say like $100 trillion?
Yes, actually
Zimbabwe?
now it's even less than a cent.
Is it?
Believe
Is it
it or
really?
not.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yes. So.
I mean,
But this is now a collectible because it's so cool.
Right.
It is, and it's colorful too. It's kind of cool looking.
Do they
Yes.
still print these $100 trillion bills? Or
No,
anything?
no,
Okay.
they do not. They did away. Their currency just inflated away to nothing.
Wow.
And so now they use dollars and rands and other countries' currency, basically.
Less than a cent. $100
Yes.
trillion.
But it's kind of neat to talk about, as we're talking about, you can talk about with your young one.
Right.
And
And you have some examples of some coins here too, I see.
Yes, this is a buffalo nickel.
Okay.
Very famous design. You can show it to your young one, and you know they would get excited about, you know, why is there an Indian? Who were the Indians? Why are they on our coinage? You know, our history. Really, what is the history of the United States?
Right.
You know, before Europeans were here, it was all just Native Americans. And,
Right.
And so.
Back in the day, that used to be more common, seeing Native Americans on our coinage.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
That's correct.
Yeah, when did that switch over? And
1938 is when they started making the Jefferson nickel.
Jefferson
Okay.
nickels.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And real quick before we go, what do you have here? The State Series quarters. I think you brought that with you in the past.
A few times, yes. Always good to learn geography as well as
Right.
history with the state quarters, and so you can, with the map, open it up and they can learn geography as well.
It's a good way for a kid to get started in coin collecting.
Yes.
I would
So
think.
much great information right here with Jim Essence from Jim's Coins in Hilldale. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jim.
so
Yeah,
much.
thanks
Always
a
a
lot for
pleasure.
having me. Yeah, me too.
Don't go away. There's more Wisconsin Family coming up right after the break.